What's going on? How y'all doing? So this is gonna be like an album review, the Jimmy Jam Terry Lewis Volume 1. I just got a chance to listen to it. And I don't know. I don't know which record put me more to sleep. That one or Prince's one, and I'm gonna do the Prince one probably the next day. Sorry. I don't really get into vault records. Now the Jam and Lewis record sound like a vault record. The only cut that kind of moved me a little bit was the one with Charlie Wilson. Do What I Do. Had the talk box. I think they was trying to allude to when Roger and Charlie Wilson did Computer Love together. Because you remember that's Charlie on the hook singing it with Shirley Murdock in the back. But this Jam and Lewis record sounded like it was phoned in. Volume 1. Volume 2. No. Listen. You got to have New Edition. You got to have Janet Jackson. You got to have Mint Condition. Come on now. SOS Band. The goods. Gotta have Johnny Gill. You gotta have the people on the cut. That cut with Mary J. Blige was by the numbers, and the Mariah one sounded like she dialed it in just like the Toni Braxton one. As for that cut with Morris Day, Jerome, and the Roots, corny. Corny. Jam and Lewis, I'd take them throwing up those synth overwhelms from back in the mid 80s with, the programming, the grooves. Not this. It was a trip too, because I think it was about a month ago I was out listening to Sherelle's I Didn't Mean to Turn You On. And those old synth groove runs they had still knock. I take that 40-year-old synth sound over what they putting out. Now, originally, if you go back with Jam and Lewis back in 85, the secret was their project. It was going to be Jam and Lewis and Monte Moya. But, obviously they get a record to Janet Jackson. Control blew up and the rest was history. Then they tried with their Mo Money soundtrack with their Perspective records. And I do like when they have the sound of blackness. I like a few things, but this record's just a snooze fest. The cut with Babyface was really sleepy. I'm like, I would love it if he went and did some of his deal stuff with what y'all did. Bring that Jerry Curl funk groove back. But this slow down, lounge, quarantine, zoom in, sleepy music is just not happening. I just couldn't really get into the record. And I was listening. And I think Jam and Lewis are two of the greatest producers ever as far as sound goes. I like their sound, what they created with the hits, Songwriting is debatable because I think that they had some big songs, but I think it was production. They were more with the producers. And as producers, they definitely had a locked-in sound. However, it's been a minute. Probably the last Jam and Lewis production that I dug was That's the Way Love Goes for Janet Jackson, if I'm honest. Since then, I ain't been feeling much. So, anyway, this record, the Jam and Lewis Volume 1 didn't do nothing for me, but tell me what you think. Now, it doesn't take away from their greatness from the past. It's just that it's a snooze of a record, and I can't really get into it, and I just don't really think much of it. So that's just my thoughts and takes. But you give me a welcome thoughts and comments, and please hit the like, subscribe, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for one another. And sometimes it's best that when you hit the legacy flag to leave it there. Because when you try to tamper with something, it just kind of comes kind of janky. And this ain't really happening. Jam and Lewis Volume 1 is a no. And I'm scared of Volume 2. Because unless you got the goods, and you know what I mean when I say the goods, this here, it ain't happening. And I always have some expectations with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, but this just wasn't on point for me. I'm out.